It's an honor for me to ask Michelle Brown, who is the Executive Director of Compere and a close friend of mine, to come up and introduce our first honoree, Googie Butler.
Thank you, Ken. What a lovely evening it is tonight. It's so nice to see so many people that I haven't seen in so long that have been supporters of mental health services in Erie County, and how lucky the MHA is to have Ken Housestack. Let's have a round of applause. I was truly honored when Ken asked me to present this award to Googie's family, to honor her memory and to recognize her accomplishments, not only in the MHA but throughout our area and the state. The straight story of Googie's accomplishments are in your program book. Ken said that it was okay for me to kind of go off script here tonight. So what I wanted to do is talk to you a bit about the Googie that I knew, who was my friend, my mentor, my inspiration. I think of Googie often. As the founder of Compere, as I said, she was my mentor, my inspiration, and my friend. I remember the first time I met Googie. We had an intro meeting planned. I got there before her. I was nervous. Her reputation in the mental health world preceded her as determined, not taking no for an answer, and getting her way all the time. Finally, I saw her briskly walking down the hallway, 90 pounds of fierce coming at me. No one had to tell me it was her. 1 year into my career at Compere, I had to tell Googie I was having a baby. I was single, and basically she was my boss. I didn't want her to think that I was casting a bad light on this new little organization. I brought her into my office, summed up all my courage, and broke the news. She looked at me dead end, pointed her finger at me, and said, "My advice to you is don't get married. It's too stressful." Well, after that, we became a team. She brought me everywhere. We went to the Friends of the BPC, we went to recovery meetings, we went to NAMI meetings, and the Office of Mental Health. When Dick Warndorf, who was then the regional director of the New York State Office of Mental Health, saw Googie coming, he said yes before she even had to ask. And then, when she showed up with Liz Schuster, forget about it. No one could say no to Googie. We used to meet at the town restaurant for breakfast. Googie would have her usual, a small glass of grapefruit, dry rye toast, and a cigarette. She never talked about her personal life, only about her mental health issues, her multiple hospitalizations, and her journey through recovery. She never focused on the negative. Her attitude was, we get behind us, and we help those who need us. Though diminutive in stature, she was a giant in spirit. I admired her tenacity and her willingness to use her own story of her mental health challenges and recovery to better the lives of others in our community. Compere presents the Googie Butler Award for Advocacy this year, every year, to someone in the community who's helped others with mental health challenges. This year, the award is going to Carol Shalahorn. Several other recipients of this award are here tonight. Ken Housestack, Ellen Cooper, Pat Garman, and Karen and E.J. Butler. E.J. once told me that he could not keep up on all the organizations that his mother joined, founded, supported, and the boards she belonged to. She was always involved in one thing or another related to mental health. My favorite E.J. story is the one he tells about breaking curfew, sneaking back into the house through an open window at 2 a.m. in the morning, only to find his mother standing in the same room talking on the phone to someone about some mental health issue here in our area. I didn't know that Googie was the past chairman of the board of directors of the MHA, but really over the past 25 years, I always felt a kinship with the MHA. It was almost a biblical experience. Although I think when Roger Stone wanted to get out the garlic and the crossbones, because so many of the members of the board of the MHA became board members for Compeer. Googie begot Ellen Cooper, who begot Pat Garman, who begot Ken Hausman, and Missy Bucknard. And now we come full circle with EJ on the mental health board. Googie inspired so many of us. She was someone you wanted on your side. She was the quintessential volunteer. She worked hard, used all of her resources to fight the good fight, and she was the greatest cheerleader. Googie's legacy lives on with her family. They continue her mission to improve the lives of children and adults who are striving for good mental health. It's with great pleasure that I present this award to EJ Butler.
Wow. 90 pounds of fierce. That means a little something different when she's your mom. One of the greatest gifts that my mom ever gave to the mental health community here in Western New York was when she hired Michelle at Compeer. She's the first, only executive director they've ever had in 27 years. And she's made a profound difference in thousands of kids and adult lives. Thanks, Michelle. I was reading notes of the program earlier for the event tonight, and it said that I had 4 minutes. And if you want to know why I'm smiling, it's whoever came up with this, you're lucky it's me up here tonight, not my mom. I mean, at 4 minutes, my mother's lungs were just getting loosened up. She had whole sentences that went longer than 4 minutes. She would have eaten up 4 minutes just complaining about the cash bar. I'm not kidding. I got the hands up. Aren't you chairman of this board? Didn't you have something to do with this evening? I mean, these people pay good money for these tables. They probably came right from work. They might have enjoyed a free cocktail. And if they would have had two, they might have spent more at the silent auction. This is fundraising 101. She was a beauty. After 10 minutes, she would have been looking for the guy that runs the mic. But she loved this hotel. She loved this room. She would have loved to have been here tonight to celebrate 50 years of the good works of the MHA in Erie County. And she would have been humbled beyond belief to be in your company tonight, Pat. I mean, Pat Garman, who along with her husband Dick, and the entire Garman family have devoted so much of their time and their resources, not just to mental health causes, but to so many noble projects here in Western New York. Congratulations, Pat. My mother would have been honored to share the spotlight with you. My mother learned about the mental health care system in this county and by association this country the hard way. Strapped to a gurney with electric shock going through her body in facilities where the conditions weren't generally conducive to getting better. Now, if she was here, she would tell you that was nearly 50 years ago, and we've made great strides in the way that we both diagnose and treat mental illness. And she would also tell you that she was one of the lucky ones. She was lucky, she felt lucky because she got the right combination of therapy, pharmacology, and just sheer intestinal will along with support from organizations like the MHA, so that she could get on the right side of her disease and spend the bulk of the rest of her life advocating for those who couldn't always advocate for themselves. And, you know, she took her personal story public way before it was ever mainstream to do so. And she did it not only to point out what she felt were the flaws in the ways that people were being clinically treated, but also branded by a society that really didn't understand mental illness. And it was in her efforts to destigmatize mental health care where she was the most passionate. I mean, it was her belief that we were all a breath or less away at some point in our lives from some challenge to our good mental health. And she couldn't fathom why people would be viewed any differently that were suffering from mental illness than if they were suffering from diabetes or Parkinson's or any other treatable disease. And that's what most mental illness is. It's a biochemical disease. And it strikes without any regard for geography or ethnicity or affluence. Now, here too, she would also tell you that we've come a long, long way in the past few decades. But she would also remind us that we're not quite there yet. And if anyone came up to you tonight and told you that stigma associated with mental illness was a thing of the past, you need only to send them to our own county medical center and have them take a tour of the emergency room facilities and the treatment area there and look at those conditions, and then take a short walk down the hall to the psychiatric intake and take a look at the triage and treatment facilities there. It's not that the quality of treatment is worse, it's that the conditions that help promote that stigma. And if the people that do that come back and still tell you that there's not two worlds of difference between the two, that's what my mother would have called delusional thinking. Now, her work's not done. And if she were here today, if she were alive, she'd be hard at work inside places like the Mental Health Association, where they not only ensure that those seeking their help are provided with the right clinical treatment, but are also continuing her efforts to build a broader understanding and a compassion for people that are suffering with poor mental health. She would absolutely want to pay a special thanks to everybody who's worked the last 50 years at the Mental Health Association, and the literally thousands of physicians, clinicians, social workers, and community volunteers that have carried the mission of the MHA out throughout Erie County. And she would want to thank all of you for coming out here tonight, supporting this event, and helping to ensure that there's a strong, vibrant mental health association that's properly staffed and funded and ready to ably serve this great community for the next 50 years. Thank you.